Hello everyone and welcome to a new episode from grade 12. In our episode today, we'll be discussing together the final exam for the first period. Of course, we will be revising together and we will have a look about everything that is in your final exam. So make sure to stay with us. We will be back after this short break. Welcome back everyone. Let us now look together at this slide, and as you can see here for the first period exam, let us look what will the exam contain. Well, first of all, you will have different questions. First of all, you'll have the vocabulary questions, then the grammar questions, after that the language function questions, and then the set book questions. Also, you will have the writing composition question, and then you will have the reading comprehension questions, after that the summary making, and finally the translation. So you will be dealing with all of these in your final exam. We will start together by discussing each one of them, and we will look how we can easily answer the questions during the exam. We will talk first about the vocabulary. As you can see here, we have a total of 24 marks in the vocabulary divided between two questions. We have the first question in the vocabulary, which is choose the correct answer from A, B, C, and D. So you'll have 4 sentences. Each one you will get 3.5 marks for, and the total mark is 14 marks. And always remember that the vocabulary will be taken from Module 1 in your book. Actually, the whole exam will be related to Module 1. Good. Let us now read together the first sentence. It is simply against my to lie to anyone. We must be honest. So what do you think? Against my, and we have here different options. You have adoption, consultation, penalties, and principles. What do you think here the correct answer is? Of course, here you're going to choose excellent, D, which is principles. It is simply against my principles to lie to anyone. Excellent. Good. Let us move now to the second sentence and try reading it together and answering it as well. Even though Ali is about losing his job, he still plans to find another one in the same field. So what do you think here the correct answer is? He is not sure about his job. He's not satisfied about his job. We can say here, excellent, disgruntled. Even though Ali is disgruntled about losing his job, he still plans to find another one in the same field. Excellent. Moving now to number 3. Volunteers were to the damaged areas to support people in need. So they gathered in this area to support the people. They all went and gathered there. So we can simply say that they deployed. Excellent. Volunteers were deployed to the damaged areas to support people in need. And here the last one. Let's read it together. We debated the pros and cons of the idea for a few days, but decided to go for it. But what do you think? Compassionately, ultimately, unfortunately, or nervously? Well, of course, here the answer is ultimately. Excellent. So, but ultimately decided to go for it. Excellent job. So, for this first question, the previous question we just did together, of course, you will depend on your studying and your knowledge of these words. But in this second question, the next one, there is something actually that can help you if you, for example, let's say, wondered between two words or you found a difficulty to know which one is the correct word. There is something you can do. Let's look first at the question. Fill in the spaces with words from the list. So here you're going to have words written for you, and you will have to fill them in the gaps. Excellent. So you'll have 4 sentences, each one 2.5. The total is 10 marks. Now, before you still the gap filling, you will have to read the word. Let's read the words together. We have the word displace, diversity, frail, over a barrel, and compassionately. Of course, here you can start directly by filling the gaps, or you can also do something which is figuring out the part of speech of these words. Why will we do that? I will tell you. First of all, let's figure out the part of speech. Of course, diversity is a noun. Over a barrel is an idiom. Displace is a verb. Frail is an adjective. And compassionately is an adverb. Well, why did we do that? Sometimes when you start answering, of course, there is an extra word here that you will not use. Let's say that for one sentence, you are wondering between two words. You are not sure which one to use. Sometimes you can look at the part of speech if you are still wondering. Well, leave the meaning on the side and look at the part of speech. Sometimes from the part of speech of the sentence, you can know which one to use, or you can know which one is correct if you are wondering between two. So let us now start doing them together. The first sentence, and of course we have 5 options. The software company has me. If I don't accept the license, I can't use the software. So the software company has me. Over a barrel. So here we use the idioms. So here he is like in a bad situation, or he is in a difficult situation. So that's why we used here the idiom over a barrel. For the next one, and we have 4 options left. The earthquake was so destructive that it most of the town's residents. So it what? What do you think? It, of course, here we're going to use a verb, displaced. It displaced most of the town's residents. Excellent. For the next one of the lessons the mother tried to teach her children is how to treat others. What do you think? To treat them with compassion. So we say compassionately. Excellent. So here we use an adverb. Sometimes when you look at some sentences, you know that you need an adverb here. So sometimes just go for the part of speech and just look which one of the words is the adverb and use it. If you, for example, let's say, forgot the meaning or you are not sure about it. Good. And for the last one, we have, of course, 2 options left. One of them is correct. The other one is not correct, of course. So let's read the sentence together. The of products is a must if we want to attract a greater range of customers. What do you think? We should have a lot of products, different products. So we say the diversity, excellent. The diversity of products is a must if we want to attract a greater range of customers. Excellent. So these were the 2 different types of questions in the vocabulary section. You will have to memorize the vocabulary words well, because actually, as you will see later, you will need them throughout the whole exam. But make sure to memorize them well, and if it happens and you forget a word, or probably you are just wondering, or between 2 words you think they are similar, use the tips I told you about. Good. After the vocabulary, we have the second part in the exam, which is the grammar. Of course, for the grammar as well, we have 2 questions, and the 2 questions, the total of the mark is 20 marks. Good. So the total mark is 20 marks, and of course, the grammar as well, it's taken from module 1. So they are grammatical rules that you already have studied in which module? Of course, module 1, because we are revising for the first period exam. And now let's look at the first type of question. The first question, the grammar, is choose the correct answer from A, B, C, and D. So you will have 4 sentences or 4 questions by 2.5, so the total mark is 10 marks. Let us now look at the first one. The last marathon runner crossed the finishing line. Nearly everyone had gone home. So what do you think here? Of course, always try to look for keywords when you are answering grammar questions, because for grammar, you won't be able to answer sometimes the question if you don't look at the keywords. Of course, you also will have to read the sentence, understand the meaning, the time of the sentence, is it in the past, in the present, future, and also search for keywords. So here, the last marathon runner crossed the finishing line. Nearly everyone had gone. Of course, we're going to use by the time the last runner or the last marathon runner crossed the finishing line, nearly everyone had gone home. Excellent. So the answer is D. The next sentence, he's never visited that place when he was young. So this is tag question. I'm sure you are familiar with tag questions since you were a lot younger than now. But here you have to look at the verb. He has never visited. He has never visited. So for the tag question, of course, you are going to use has he. Why don't we here use hasn't he? Some of you will say, well, I remember that with tag questions, I use negation, so hasn't he? Well, that is right. But here, what you didn't notice that we have the word never. So already we have the negation here. He has never. So when we use the tag question here, it cannot be with not. We have to use it has alone. Has he, not hasn't he. Because we already, as we said, have the word never in the sentence. Good. So always make sure to notice all the words, because some of you may just read he has, okay, yeah, hasn't he, and that's it. No, read the whole sentence. Just look at all the words, because sometimes you may have sentences just like this. Good. Now we're going to move to the next question. How long you learn Italian? So here we have a question and we have options. Can we say how long have you learned? How long did you learn? How long you have learned? Or how long you learned? Of course, here you are going to go with A, which is how long have you learned Italian? Good. So always remember the keywords, remember the grammatical rules you studied, and remember to read the whole sentence. Don't just read the first word, or don't just read the words before and after the gap. No, read the whole sentence. Even if it needs, you can read it more than once until you understand and you know which grammatical rule is it, then start answering. So the answer here is A. For the next one, not only all day at the wedding, but also the band was late. So of course here we are talking about inversion, and for inversion, of course, we have not only but also, and also other different of inversion. But here for this question, the answer is going to be, what do you think? You will have, as we said, to read the whole sentence. Well, here in the sentence, but also the band was late. So you see the tense here, it's in the past, simple past. So here we are going to go for D. Excellent. Not only was it raining, but also the band was late. Excellent. So the answer here is D. Good. So now that we are done with the gap filling, you chose from the different options. As I told you before, read the whole sentence, try to read the options. Sometimes some options or some answers, you will just have to eliminate them because they are totally wrong and they cannot be in that question. But sometimes if you are wondering, try to read the sentence more than once, and I am sure you will figure what the answer is. Good. Now the second type of question in the grammar is do as shown between brackets. Of course, you will have two sentences and you will have a total of 10 marks, and in these sentences you will be asked to do things or to apply things on the sentence. Let's look how together. Now for this first sentence, let's read it together. Riding a bicycle may not be as comfortable as driving a car. Okay, so you look at the sentence. It's a normal sentence, but they want you to use in comparison with. They want you to use in comparison with. So you can do it both ways. You can say, in comparison with driving a car, riding a bicycle may not be comfortable. So here we switched the sentence because we need for the meaning to still be the same, that in comparison with driving a car, riding a bicycle may not be comfortable. Or you can simply say, riding a bicycle may not be as comfortable in comparison with driving a car. So you can use it both ways, but make sure when you use in comparison with at the beginning of the sentence that you don't miss the meaning. You will have to make the meaning or to keep the meaning correct. Good. The next question, Ali should have sold the car at the cheap price. Well, this is also a normal sentence. Let's see what they want us to do. They want us to make negative. This is really easy, and I'm sure most of you by now, you already done it. Okay, so we say, Ali shouldn't have. Excellent. Ali shouldn't have. We have to use here the negation. We make negative. Excellent. Good. So this is the next question. Let's read it. If you had warned me, and then we have a gap. So here they want you to complete. Sometimes here you may wonder, what would I say, or what shall I say in this sentence? Well, of course, if you read the first part, you will see that we have if you had warned me. So of course, because you already studied the third conditional, the if third conditional, you will know that this is the third conditional, and that you will have to complete with few words or some words that are necessary in the sentence, and then the rest of the sentence you can complete from your own words, or you can like put any words, just like how we are going to see now. For example, for this sentence, if you had warned me, the answer here, if you had warned me, I wouldn't have been in a difficult situation. Can you change the end of the sentence here? Of course you can. For example, I can say, if you had warned me, I wouldn't have been, for example, I would have been in a better situation. We can write it without the negation. I can say, if you had warned me, I would have been in a better situation. The most important thing here is that you should use the third conditional as you studied it, to follow all the rules and then complete the sentence with your own words. Good. Now, that was regarding the grammar. We saw that we have two questions in the grammar. The first one was filling the gaps, and the other one was do as shown between brackets. Good. Now, after you are done with the grammar, you will move to the language functions. In the language functions, you will have a total of 20 marks. Of course, you will have 4 sentences or 4 situations to reply to. Now, a mistake that a lot of students do during the exams, that when it comes to language functions, you start to write actions. Well, the question here states clearly that they want you to say something. So the question is, what would you say? Not what would you do? Well, if you were asked, or if the question was, what would you do? You can probably write an action. I will go, I will talk, I will throw, whatever. But here it is, what would you say? So we want you to write the reply directly to the person as if you were in that situation. Okay? So let us together now look at the first situation. Your grandmother is so weak that she can only walk very short distances. Well, here you have a lot of options or a lot of language functions that you can use. You can either give an advice, express intention, express obligation. For example, you can say, please, Grandma, you have to do some exercises to feel better. Or, for example, I advise you to go and see a doctor. Or I advise you to drink a lot of milk so that your bones will be stronger. You have a lot of options here. Just make sure you write the reply as if you are saying it to your grandmother directly in front of you. Good. Let's move now to the next situation. Many children find tame animals very appealing. So, Well, you can agree, you can give reasons why they find them appealing, or you can express advantages. You can say, or you can tell, or you can write the advantages of tame animals. For example, here you can say, I totally agree with you. Or you can say, well, I think because tame animals are really friendly and you can keep them at home, etc. So here you have a lot of replies that you can use for this situation. So let's read the next situation together. You borrowed your brother's laptop, but you forgot it somewhere. Well, this is a situation that can actually happen in real life, right? So here you have a lot of things you can actually say. You can justify, you can apologize, or you can plan for something or intent, or you have like an intention for doing something. For example, here you can say, well, I have your laptop, I just put it somewhere and I will bring it. You can justify, you can give any justification. You can simply apologize. You can say, I'm sorry, brother, I promise you I will bring your laptop. And also you can say, I will bring your laptop tomorrow, for example, or I will give you your laptop next week. So you have a lot of options here. And next, let's read number 18. You need the travel agent to help you book a ticket to London. Well, this is obvious that you will have to ask or request politely. Well, as you can see, we have asking for help or requesting politely. Simply you can say, would you mind please helping me to get a ticket to London? Or you can, for example, ask for help. Can you help me getting a ticket for London, etc. So here we have a polite request or asking for help. So do you have a lot of options here that you can write? Good. So after you are done with the function, you will move then to the set book. Well, here the set book, just to remind you that it is of a general nature, which means that the answers here, you don't have to write answers taken exactly from the book. Or let's say that we are searching here for a specific information. No, the questions here, as you will see, they are general. So the answer as well is going to be general. It's going to be from your own point of view of things. Good. So let us now see, you will have 16 marks for the set book. For the first question, you will have a total of 12 marks and you will have to answer 2 questions. So let us now look together at the questions. We will be answering them together. So let's read the question together. How do you think a society would look like in the absence of law? So this is a general question. Now let's see how you can answer this question. Let's read this question, this answer together. Nobody would feel safe or secure. People's lives, rights, and properties wouldn't be protected. So as you can see, this is a general answer for this general question. So here we want your own point of view, and this is an example or an example of how you can answer these kind of questions. Now let us move to the next question. From your point of view, how is identifying human values important? So also, as the question states, from your own point of view. So let's look at the answer. You can say something like, human values reduce violence in societies. Peace prevails or spreads. Human values help us understand each other and build up our personality. So this is a question, an answer that you can simply write to this question. Good. Let's now read this next question. Kuwait has always been a country keen to promote its diplomatic ties with other far places. From your point of view, what makes a successful diplomat? So, what do you think? What are the things that make a successful diplomat? Well, let's see the answer here together. A successful diplomat should have the relevant work experience. He should be open-minded, willing to work with others, a good listener, and self-confident. Good. Some of you here may say that, where can I get these knowledge, or where can I get this knowledge from? Well, of course, from your book, because you already studied module 1, and all these topics in the set book, they are related to your book. They are actually taken from your book. All that we are saying, that we are not here searching for a specific information or answer. The question is general, and so as the answer should be general from your own point of view of things that you have already studied. Yes, and of course you have discussed it with your teacher already. Good. Now let's move to the next question. So the next question in the set book is, answer only one of the following questions. Of course, you will have one answer and a total of one question, and a total of 4 marks. Well, here we are talking, of course, about the literature time from your story, Henry, that is written by William Shakespeare. So let us now look together at the question. The first question here: it is important to adapt our speech to people in a way appropriate to their social classes and backgrounds. Why? Why is that? Of course, here as well, you don't have to, for example, look for or search for a specific information from the book. No. You already read this story, discussed it with your teachers and your classmates. Now here we want you to write your own point of view and your own opinion. So let's see here the answer together. We should do so to be understood, to be convincing and persuasive, and also to make people feel important and involved in the issue. Good. So this was the answer to this question. Now you will have 2 questions in the literature. You will have to answer one, but let's look at the second question. No war is inevitable until it breaks out. What preparations could be done in anticipation of war? So in war times, what can people do, or how can they prepare for war? Let's look together at this answer. First, defense lines must be strengthened. Second, armies must be prepared. Finally, various information about the enemy must be collected and analyzed for further actions. So all of these things must be taken in consideration when you are preparing for a war. So now we are done with 4 questions in the final exam. We will be discussing the writing composition, but we won't be doing that right now. We will have a short break and we will be back. Welcome back, everyone. So as I said earlier, now we have reached the 5th question in the final exam for the first period, which is the writing composition. For the writing composition, you will have a total of 30 marks for the question, and you will have to do a few things and before starting writing your composition, and these things are really helpful. Let's look at them together. So here we have tips for essay writing. First of all, get started by brainstorming. So there is something that is really important anyone should do before writing an essay, which is brainstorming. What we mean by brainstorming is gathering your ideas, organizing them, planning your whole essay, and then you can start the next step. So planning and organizing, these 2 things are really important when writing an essay. You have to put your ideas, of course, as it is written here. Let your first draft flow. Write everything. Start writing all the ideas you have in your mind. Don't be afraid to write anything, because after that, you can, of course, edit your essay. Then after that, you will have to develop 3 essay parts. First of all, introduction, which is 1 paragraph that introduces your essay. After that, the body, and in the body you can have a lot of paragraphs, not only 1 paragraph. You may have several paragraphs explaining the main idea with examples. After that, finally, you will have the conclusion paragraph, which is also a one paragraph that summarizes and ends the essay. After that, when you are done reading the three parts, the introduction, the body, and the conclusion, you can proofread and make corrections, because of course you may have spelling mistakes, you may forgot to write something, you may have wrote something twice, so you can always edit and correct the mistakes. So let us now here, we have an example question for a writing composition. Let's read it together. There is no foreign land, it is the traveler who is foreign. So, in 12 sentences, 140 words, plan and write a report about migration. So, of course, migration is a topic that you have already discussed in class with your teacher and your classmates, and it is from one of the units in Module 1. But, however, here you have guide ideas that may also help you when writing the composition. First idea, why people migrate to foreign countries, the advantages and disadvantages of migration, how has Kuwait provided a good home for skilled workers. So you will be discussing these three ideas in your topic or in your essay. Of course, you will write your own point of view, your own words. However, you have a background or knowledge about migration from studying it in class with your teacher. So you will start after that, as we said, by brainstorming. Excellent. You will write your outline. So here we have the outline. In the outline, you will have the introduction, and of course, in the introduction, you will write the topic sentence that will introduce the main topic. So before you start writing about the main topic, you will here write in the introduction the topic idea or the topic sentence, okay? After that, you will move to the body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, body paragraph 3, or even more, depending on the ideas you have. So in the body, you will start writing the details, giving examples. You will write the sub-ideas or the supporting ideas. Good. And finally, in the conclusion, you will write like a short summary, or like, for example, some people like to write an advice or wishing for something in the conclusion, but it's going to be like a summary for the whole topic or the whole essay. And after you are done with your outline, now you are going to be able to move to writing the whole essay. You already planned it, it is organized, so it's easier for you to write it just with details, examples, everything you can remember about migration. Good. Then we reach the sixth part of the exam, which is the reading comprehension. For the reading comprehension, you will have a total mark of 60 marks. Of course, the reading passage is going to be from a regular textbook, not from your own textbook. It's like from other sources. So you will not have any idea, or you won't have previous idea about the reading passage. I mean, not from the text or the school textbook. Good. Now we will start reading the passage together. After we are done reading, we will start answering the questions also together. As summer comes near, many children are really happy to forget about school for a few months. However, they might be taking that goal too seriously. Studies have found that children forget between 1 and 3 months worth of school learning during the summer months. Spelling and math abilities suffer the most, while reading is not really influenced by the time off. The most probable reason for this is that most children read at least occasionally outside the classroom, whether newspaper, magazines, books, or video game guides. However, their math and spelling skills only get exercised in the school setting. The original purpose of summer vacations was to let farm children have time off to help work in the fields in the high growing season. But this reason is no longer valid since fewer kids actually work on farms today. Some cities in the United States, such as Los Angeles, have moved to a year-round school calendar, which may help reduce the academic decline that occurs during the long summer vacation. Most cities maintain the normal 9.5 months calendar. To improve skills and to maintain a good level of preparation, administrators recommend trips to museums, summer camps, vacations with educational components, and visits to libraries to keep kids mentally alert throughout the summer. There are other educational systems that provide vacations while still keeping students' skills sharp. For example, in Japan, students attend class for 7 weeks consecutively, followed by 2 weeks of vacation. This continues throughout the year. In Italy, students attend class 6 days per week, but finish at 1:30 p.m. each day, so that school does not dominate their life the way that it does in America, where students attend high school from 7:45 a.m. till 3 p.m. each weekday. In areas where there are not enough classrooms, older students attend classes in the morning while the younger kids go to schools in the afternoon. School administrators and educational specialists fear that the 3-month summer vacation halts the continuity of learning. When students go back to school after the long summer vacation, they take up 2 months to return to their previous level of proficiency. And so the debate continues whether to continue the status quo in terms of vacations or to seek changes based on the Los Angeles or the Japanese models. Good. So we had 4 paragraphs in this reading passage. Of course, now we will start answering together, but make sure, dear students, that when you answer, you read the question very well, because not all of the questions are related to the whole passage. Some of them actually are related only to one paragraph from the passage. Let's see together now. The first question you have, choose the correct answer from A, B, C, and D. You will have 4 questions, and the total mark is 18 marks. Let's read the first question together. The best title for this passage could be, so here we are talking about the whole passage, not only about one or specific paragraph. So when you have read the whole passage, if you didn't get it from the first time, if you think you are still not understanding some parts, go through it and read it again and again and again. Even if it comes to reading it 10 times, it's okay. Just read it until you fully understand the whole passage. After that, you can simply and easily answer this question. So here the answer is D, summer vacation and education. Well, this title is the best title for the whole passage. Let's move now to the next question. According to the reading, countries without enough school facilities have, well, you can here go back also to the passage, also read it again until you can find the paragraph that talks about this idea or this information, and then you will easily find the answer. So the answer here is also divided, D is divided the school day between old and young students. So this was the answer for the second question. Let us now move to the third question. Yes. The underlined word halts in the 4th paragraph means, well, here I'm going to have to go back to the paragraph, which is paragraph 4, that contains this word. I will have to read the sentence that contains this word more than once until I can reach to the closest meaning to this word, which is halts. Okay, let's read the options. A, stops, promotes, stimulates, or returns. So what do you think? According to the sentence, after you have read it for more than once, which meaning is the closest meaning to halts? Well, the correct answer is A, stops. So make sure to read the sentence more than once until you can figure out the correct meaning. Good. Moving to the next question, we can understand from the passage that, okay, so here we are talking about the whole passage. Let's read the options together. Vacations are mainly to help farm children work in the fields. It is recommended to follow the Japanese model. Vacations shouldn't be at the expense of children learning. D. Vacations are more important than children learning. Well, of course, for the last one, it is completely not correct because learning is really important for people. So here the correct answer is C. Vacations shouldn't be at the expense of children learning. And that is so true. Now let us move to the next question in the reading comprehension and let us read it together. Answer the following questions referring to the passage. So as you can see here, we're going to have 3 questions and a total mark of 12 marks. But let me remind you here that in these questions that they are related to the reading passage. So here you cannot answer your own answer or from your own point of view or your own opinion. Here you have to search for the answer in the reading passage. So we need a specific answer that is there somewhere in the reading passage and you have to write it as an answer. You cannot just write your own answer, unlike of course the set book. Good. Let's read now the first question together. Why isn't reading influenced by the time off during the summer vacation? Of course, as I said earlier, here you cannot write your own answer. You have to go back to the reading passage, search through the paragraphs and look for the answer. So let's see the answer here together. Because most children read at least occasionally outside the classroom, whether in newspapers, magazines, books, or video game guides. That's why reading is not influenced by the summer holiday, unlike, of course, spelling and math. Good. The next question is, what was the original purpose of summer vacations? So in the past, why did people had a summer vacation, or in specific, why did kids have summer vacation? What was the reason for this holiday or this vacation? Well, the original purpose of summer vacations was to let farm children have time off to help work in the fields in the high growing season. So, where did I get this answer from? Of course, from the reading passage. So, we searched for the answer and then we wrote it. And of course, always remember that whether you are answering set book questions, reading comprehension questions, always write a full sentence. The next question, what makes school administrators and educationalists worried? Why do they worry about kids and children who have a summer holiday or a vacation? Why do they worried? Of course, let's look at the answer here. They fear that the 3-month summer vacation halts the continuity of learning. And of course, halts here we mean, as we answered already, stops. So they are afraid it may stop the continuity of learning. When students go back to school after the long summer vacation, they take up to 2 months to return to their previous level of proficiency. That's why teachers, specialists, and administrators in education, they worry about this. Good. Now, after you are done answering the comprehension or the reading comprehension questions, we will now reach the summary making, which is also a part of reading comprehension, because actually you will be summarizing a paragraph that is also in the reading comprehension passage. Let's read the question together. Of course, you will have 10 marks for this summary. In 4 sentences of your own, summarize the 4th paragraph in answer to the following question. So they have a specific, or they have the 4th paragraph they want you to summarize. What exactly? You will answer this question. How can students keep up their skills during summer? So you will go back to the paragraph. There is something here that you can do actually. You can hold your pen or pencil, you can start reading the fourth paragraph, and when you reach the sentences that talks about or that answers this, when you reach the sentences that answer this question, start underlining them. So you are reading, so you can underline the first point, the second point, the third point, until you reach 4 points, and that is what they need here. So after you have underlined the points, you can then move on and start paraphrasing them and write them as a summary. Of course, always remember, as you can see here, to write the points as a paragraph, not as separated points. We need you to summarize the paragraph into a shorter one. So you have to keep writing it as a paragraph, not separated. Good. Let's read it together. Trips to museums are recommended. Students can join summer camps. They can visit libraries. Vacations with educational components should be considered. And now we move to the last part in your exam, which is the translation. Translation is actually, you have two translations. You have from English to Arabic, of course, and from Arabic to English. The translation that is from English to Arabic is actually also a paragraph taken from the reading passage. So by then you will be having enough information about the reading passage and the topic about the reading passage after answering the questions, and now you will start translating. Good. I will start reading the translation in English, and then we will translate it together into Arabic. The original purpose of summer vacations was to let farm children have time off to help work in the fields in the high growing season. But this reason is no longer valid since fewer kids actually work on farms today. Some cities in the United States, such as Los Angeles, have moved to a year-round school calendar, which may help reduce the academic decline that occurs during the long summer vacation. Most cities maintain the normal 9.5-month calendar. Good. So this was the paragraph. After you are done reading the paragraph, you can go back, read it twice, you can read it for 3 times, it's up to you. You can read it until you fully understand the whole paragraph. After you have understood the paragraph, now you will start translating. You will translate the paragraph, of course, into good Arabic. After you are done translating, you can read both paragraphs. Read the paragraph in English and the one you translated in Arabic. Do they give you the same meaning? Are the ideas still the same? Did you change anything? Did you give another meaning? No. If you have the same or the similar meaning, then you did it right. So let's have a look now of a paragraph that is translated into Arabic. So this was the previous paragraph, but of course this time in Arabic. Let's read it together. كان الغرض الأصلي من العطلة الصيفية السماح للمزارعين من الأطفال الحصول على بعض الوقت للعمل في الحقول في موسم النمو العالية، ولكن هذا السبب لم يعد الآن صالحا حيث قل عدد الأطفال الذين يعملون في المزارع اليوم. وقد انتقلت بعض المدن في الولايات المتحدة مثل لوس أنجلوس للتقويم المدرسي على مدار السنة، والذي قد يساعد في الحد من التدهور الأكاديمي الذي يحدث خلال عطلة الصيف الطويلة. معظم المدن تعتمد التقويم العادي المكون من 9 شهور ونصف. So now that I am done translating, as I said earlier, you will read both paragraphs. If they give you the same meaning, then you did it right, and hopefully you will have the full mark. And then finally, the last part in the exam is also translation, but this time from Arabic into English. This time we have a conversation between Salim and Badr. In this conversation, you will have, or you will see, you will read ideas that were taken from your textbook. So here, it's not from the reading passage. This time it is related to Module 1 or the topics in Module 1 in your school textbook. Let's read the Arabic sentences together. إن القانون الكويتي مستمد من تعاليم القرآن الكريم وهو يحمي حقوق الأفراد كافة. بدر: هذا صحيح، وهو أيضا يضمن مجتمعنا آمنا وعادلا ومتسامحا. So, you will start now translating these two sentences into good English. Let's look together. Salim: the Kuwaiti law is drawn from the teachings of the Holy Quran and protects the rights of all individuals. Badr: that's right. It also ensures a safe, just, and tolerant society. So as you can see, anyone who's going to read these two conversations in Arabic and in English, he will get the same meaning, which means the translation here is totally correct. So we are done here. We have came to the last part of our exam. Of course, this was a revision for the first period exam. Make sure to study well. If you have any question, don't hesitate to ask your teacher. Study well, good luck, and see you next time.